in that state of half dreaming. But then, how do you explain the people who've reported similar occurrences without the paralysis?
I know, and actually still universal, right?
Yeah.
So many different countries have the same thing. So.
Yeah, and the same interpretation. And the commonality of ever reporting, and like, why are all the possible hallucinations that we could experience, why do we sense evil, like a foreboding evil? Like, why do you feel that? Because you're not in control, maybe? I don't know. So
sleep is usually a good thing, right? I mean, like...
Well, usually. Yeah. Supposedly. We have 2 people that donated stories to us, or we can also read. We got the choking hag. I think we read a couple of
we did read some of those, yeah. One of those ones. Those were kind of interesting,
The wolf figure was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Evil Jen. Okay, let's read about a handful of those. Jen, would you care to read a story with us?
Go ahead, I'm listening.
That would be a no. All right.
I'm just enjoying my time right now.
Okay, excellent. See how entertaining we are? Y'all should listen to us. And we're on Instagram now, too. Anyway. Yeah. Instagram's like way better than Twitter for us, eh?
Twitter,
Red the Monkey Man. Yeah, we a lot more people follow us on Instagram, and I'm good with that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We can't twit all the time.
No.
You know what? I don't know how to do it.
I don't know how to twit really either.
I like pictures.
I like pictures too. Just not
I
of
like
myself.
them pretty pictures.
I don't like pictures of myself, but I like pictures of other stuff.
Except those weird pictures people say. Never mind.
Yeah. Oh yeah, those other ones. Yeah.
That's all right.
Chink.
That's another.
Yeah, that's another bird for a different color.
Chink.
Chink. Chink. Chink. Cheers. No spray.
I was always told dead air on radio is not good.
Dead air on radio is not good. Oh.
Good thing we're not on radio.
Dead.
Good thing we're not on radio. But here it's acceptable because we're giving up the ghost.
Yeah, we are.
Anyway, but
what'd you hear in the background?
Yeah. No.
I always tell Sherry, oh, I'll edit that out later. Yeah,
and she never does.
No.
She's like, oh, yeah, we'll edit that out. Yeah,
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Nobody got time to edit shit, man.
That's right.
Okay, what are you going to read? I'm going to read Evil Generates from Her.
Okay.
Evil Generates from Her.
You go first.
This is stories of people that sent in stuff. It says, I am 42, and first had a nightmare about a terrifying witch at the age of 16. She kneels on my chest and stares into my face, slowly getting nearer and nearer. I am completely terrified. She wears a black cloak and hood. Her face is like a witch, and evil generates from her, surrounds me from her. Other times I can be lying on my stomach, and she will creep her hand up the back of my head, down my face, and hook her fingers under the top teeth and pull my head back. Other times she'll bite, sit on the bed, knock the door, call my name, and generally scare the crap out of me. Can anyone explain this? Actually, her name was Jane. Jane sent this in. Jane. Jeez, Jane. Jane's got...
My God.
Why would she stick her fingers in her mouth?
That's not good.
No, that's kind of creepy.
Make her a bowling ball or something. I don't know. I got one here. It says, she strangled my girlfriend.
Yeah, just looking at that one too.
I was awakened by a screaming girlfriend. She had her arms up as if she was pushing on something, and her eyes were open as if she was awake. I called her name a few times and tried to shake her awake. Then her eyes closed and she went back to sleep. When I woke her up again, she told me that she was fighting an old lady that was trying to strangle her. Last night I was awakened by something. I had no idea what it was, but I had this strong feeling telling me that I should turn around and look at my girlfriend. As I turned around, I saw what looked like an old person's face moving away from me. At the exact moment, my girlfriend let out a small scream and went back to sleep. So did I. This morning when we woke up, the first thing my girlfriend told me was, I had a dream about that old lady again last night. What are the odds that both of us would see the same person or spirit? Why did it move away from me?
Ooh. So that's like a second person kind of thing there.
Validating what happened.
Yeah. Ew. Yeah, see, here's another one. I guess simultaneous experiences. Does that be the same thing? I don't know. So. In December of 2007, my wife and I were sleeping in a bed when I knew or felt my wife was being attacked. I woke to find a shadow person on top of her, choking her. I jumped out of bed and shared several French profanities with it. As I moved toward it to confront it, it moved away into the wall. I turned to see my wife still choking and wake her. She stated that she dreamt she was being choked by a person on top of her. Normally, you would dismiss it, but how do two people have simultaneous experiences? She would later have a similar experience in the army where her roommate woke to see a person choking her. Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, I got a short one here, and then we'll move to the real stories, because I was the timekeeper, and we're like running out of time.
Oh,
yes.
shitballs.
Well, I'm trying to be responsible. gotta happen sometimes.
Come on.
I
It's
know.
your house.
There's no responsibility here.
Before I
You're
belch,
drinking and eating.
some killer belches happening there. So it says, hair pulling hag.
Ooh.
A week ago, I was awakened in the middle of the night by the sound of, or I thought, my husband's voice saying, "She has my hand." He sometimes mumbles in his sleep, but it's never coherent and hasn't happened in a long time. I was living with my head, that doesn't look right. I was laying with my hand resting on my forearm. So I immediately opened my eyes and saw his hand wasn't moving or anything. Suddenly, at the same time, an enormous pressure covered my face and at the point that I couldn't breathe or open my mouth. As this happened, I had the feeling of a hand pressing down on the top of my head and pulling my hair so hard that I felt physical pain. I began to scream, but I couldn't open my mouth for several seconds. Finally, the pressure stopped and it was over. I want to brush this off as a nightmare, but I can't figure out why I felt pain when I was definitely conscious afterwards. My eyes were open in the entire time, and when I looked at my husband, he was in a deep sleep.
Ew. That'd be creepy.
That is very creepy.
Mm-hmm.
But it's transferring from him to her.
Yeah.
Whoa, man.
Yeah, I know. Don't like that.
That's right.
Don't like that at all.
Don't
Very
like
scary
that.
shit.
It's very, very bad.
So these were stories that were sent directly to our...
Now we have...
Facebook?
Yeah.
These are Facebook stories.
At Giving Up the Ghost podcast at Facebook. So we got some
I'm trying to figure out which order this goes in.
I think it's in the right. Oh, maybe not.
No, it's not. I must change it
Right.
around. Here we go.
Wait, let me just see. I think you have part of mine here. The
Seriously?
little part there.
Which, the little
The
teeny
little
weeny one?
chunky part there. Yeah.
This one?
Yeah.
I don't know. Wait. Because mine doesn't really... never mind. It gets really tiny. It's okay.
Oh, okay.
It just prints really tiny at the end.
Yeah, no, mine's good.
Okay,
Mine's good.
perfect.
So this is from, we'll give her first name is Janet.
Mm-hmm, this is from Janet.
Damn it.
Janet,
I
damn
love you.
Janet, damn it.
That's like one of my favorite movies. You ever watched that movie?
Janet, damn it?
No, Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh.
Yes.
It's
Not
just so
forever
weird,
and
it's
ever.
funny.
So
weird, it's funny. Okay, stop playing with that.
Okay, this is from Janet. She writes, sleep paralysis started at about the age of 16 or 17 for me. The first time it happened, I woke up in the early morning and was absolutely frozen. Could not move. I was sleeping on my back and my arms were up in the air. Oh yeah. Like they're being held up over invisible strings that I had zero control over. The only part of me that could move were my eyes. Ooh, that'd be kind of creepy. In the dim morning light, I was frantically searching and looking for anything to help me because I had such a profound sense of demonic or evil presence in the room with me.
Me out.
Yeah. I tried to scream out for help, but nothing came out. Just the screaming in my head. Ooh.
Oh.
The fear and silent screaming went on for about a minute, maybe a little bit less. Then it was over. My arms dropped back down. I quickly turned on my side in the fetal position and tried to process what just happened. I was left with the fear of evil or demonic entity that was in my bedroom, and, of course, the relief that it was gone. The second time it happened, it was in the middle of the night and was pitch black in my bedroom. Again, I woke up unable to move anything but eyes. The same horrible and petrified feeling of some dark and evil demonic creature was in my room, but this time my bed was moving. Oh my god, that would just make me want to barf right there. It felt as though someone was jumping on my bed. I just remember the absolute fear and the tears streaming down, wishing I could scream. Then it was over. The bed stopped moving and I could move again. I quickly jumped up, turned on the lights to see if I could see anything. There was nothing. Went to the living room with a blanket and my pillow. Yeah, I'd do that. I'd get the hell out of there too. There was no way I was staying in that room. The next day, I put a cross on my bedpost. Now, keep in mind, this is the late 80s and early 90s. There was no internet. There was little to no discussion about paranormal or sleep disorders. These incidents happened on and off for many years. I happened to be in the public library researching haunting and ghosts and such when I came across sleep paralysis. I was so relieved. Now I knew what was happening to me. When it starts or happens now, I just say in my head, it's sleep paralysis. It's sleep paralysis, and it goes away instantly. And I just go back to sleep. I'm extremely lucky that I never saw anything, as many people do who suffer with this actually see demons, aliens, or hellfires. Let me know if you have any questions or if you need some clarification on anything. Thanks, Janet.
Thanks, Janet.
Yeah,
Holy shit.
thanks. Wow. Yeah.
And that's Janet from Winnipeg. So,
Yeah,
this is, real...
I would not like that at all. At all.
And I know where she lives too.
Yeah. The thing about laying there with...
Huh?
Is that our high school channel?
No, actually not. She's quite a bit younger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thing about just sitting there and being able to move your eyeballs all night.
Oh.
It's like every bad movie you ever see, you know what I mean? Like really scary shows.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
They're like, something's going to happen and
I
you
think
can only move your eyes.
I think anytime you're not in control. Like anything you don't have control over, right? Because you just don't know how to react. You don't know the outcome, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Petrified.
Don't know how to fix it.
Right.
Yeah, it is. It's a feeling of helplessness, right? I mean, like,
right.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
especially like if she had that feeling overcome with the feeling of evil, like that.
Even more.
That freaks me out. Yeah, for the fact that you can go into a house, which we'll get into with you after, and you just know
something's shit there. Yeah,
that's right.
Yeah, we don't like that.
Yeah,
it's not good.
No.
So our second story we have from Isla, and Isla is a former resident of Manitoba. She's in BC now. Thank you for the contribution. She has a few more contributions to her future episodes that we're going to be talking about. So Isla says, yes, sleep paralysis. True story. Happened to me in the late spring of 1973, just before our anniversary. I had not yet turned 19, and Joe was 24 at the time. Joe and I were living in Vancouver, renting a one-bedroom apartment on the second floor on Triumph Street. Early on in our marriage, I took the job of security. Every night before I went to bed, I would check all the windows, leave the one window open in the living room, open about 4 inches so that the paper boy could toss out our paper through the window each morning.
That's smart.
I locked our apartment door and put the chain on the holder, making it doubly secure. I turned off all the lights in the apartment, I closed our bedroom door, and slipped into bed by my sleeping husband. At exactly 3 a.m., my eyes flew open to see an apparition standing at the foot of our bed on Joe's side. I recall being frightened for Joe. I sensed that this being was intending to harm Joe. I tried desperately to move, and I could not. I could not scream even. I was frozen to the point where I could not protect my husband. What a horrible feeling. Even to this day it lingers. This being was glowing white, dressed in a white robe with a rope-style belt hanging down off the left side of its garment, and it had long hair, but the most horrifying part is the face. It was obliterated. Just glowing white with no face. The odd thing, while this thing was glowing, is it did not light up the room. The light in it did not emanate. And in my peripheral vision, there was no image cast in the mirror of our double dresser to the right of me, just 3 feet away from our bed. The encounter lasted mere seconds, but I lay there frozen in paralysis, unable to move or speak, and I could only open my eyes. After a few seconds, I blinked, my eyes open, and then again, the image was gone. Our bedroom door was open, and the hall light was on. That experience was the most terrifying I had ever experienced, except for the seance I had participated in when I was 16 years old. Since then, I have searched for a scientific explanation as to what happened, as I'm not given to hysterics or superstitious beliefs. It occurs to me that about that same time, experiments were being conducted on holograms long before the World Wide Web became a thing. I had other strange experiences while living in that apartment, which, by the way, was fairly close to the water near the industrial area. It might have been the military were conducting experiments and using innocent citizens asleep in their beds as unwitting victims, or it may have well been that the dimensions colluded and a malevolent presence from another dimension was attempting contact. Interesting. Well, thank you, Isla. That was very, very interesting.
I don't like that thing with just moving my eyes.
Yeah.
That's a really thing. It's like when we were at the museum today.
Yes.
The whole Santa mask there.
Oh,
like, I can't look at his face. He's got no eyes.
I was looking at it waiting to do something.
I know. We're sitting looking at this like thing with the eyes. I don't know. Laying there
and Brian had some interesting things to say about that mask too, actually.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah?
And the doll beside it.
Oh,
you don't like dolls. Just say no to dolls.
And it's on display to everybody?
Yeah.
Right when you walk in, it's like dead center right there. You have to look at it.
Yeah.
You have to.
Yeah.
It looks like a clay mask Santa almost, eh?
Or paper mache
or something.
Where'd it come from?
We don't know. I don't know.
I didn't ask that many questions.
I didn't want to go up to it. Santa, where did you come from?
Yeah, but no, the whole eye thing. It's like every when you watch some of those really scary freaking horror movies, and there's like someone like drugged or taped or something, and they're paralyzed, and you can just see their eyes, like, you know, you get that feeling, that panic.
Yeah.
So you can't
just
do
going
enough.
Side to side,
Yeah,
side to side, having some kind of brain.
It's like REM sleep going on without. Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's very creepy.
So
You just see that right now. Ooh.
yeah, so I guess that's our contribution today for sleep paralysis and hags. That we finish it off. We came back full circle from our IKEA experience, and again, thank you to David at IKEA. That was wonderful.